The first thing is effectively, what is the vision of a POC? And so I will share my experience as panel members, maybe of course my experience also in the research and TTO in the past. The first thing is clear, and it was already mentioned by Lynn and also by Virginie, that a POC project is not a classical pure research project. And the purpose is to progress on the innovation scale. And it is no more, let's say, to push the frontier of knowledge. It's to, let's say, to pull a knowledge and to pull it on the innovation scale, which is the so-called, let's say, TRL, so technology or knowledge readiness level scale. That means the way of managing such a project is more step by step and in a more long-term line with some, let's say, accurate or more and more accurate with the time objectives to focus on targets. It's clear that a typical POC project is no more than 12 to 18 months. The rest is for development or research. But and what you can do, whatever the technology or the area, what you can do in 12 and 18 months, you should achieve deliverables. And that means you can to package or to frame the activities to get some deliverables or results some outcomes. You can decide go further or stop, because let's say the main purpose of a POC project is to check the feasibility to go to innovation, but also maybe to close a line or to stop a line or to stop an idea because it's not achievable. It's maybe the results are bad, so we have to stop, or it's absolutely too costly. You never go to a service or to the market with this solution. This kind of exercise or thing, you have to prove it. Proof of concept. That's one of the way. So, as Lynn expressed, the science excellence is a prerequisite. So, the PI of ERC project are normally the best researcher in Europe. So the purpose is not to assess the science. The science is supposed to be there. They're through the result of the ERC project, because you need to show the relationship between your grants, your normal grant, research grant, REC grant, and the idea, the possible outcome of this from the result you have already found in the REC project. So the evaluation of project is more focused on targets and the pathway to achieve these targets, and then also the management of the project with the three criteria already mentioned by Lynn: breakthrough through innovation, approach and methodology, and the PI and the project management. So very rapidly we go through these different criteria already mentioned, but breakthrough is, so mainly it's the difference between disruptive innovation, disruptive technology, a change of paradigm. It's no an incremental research project. Should be based on the results of the latest results from one or several IRC grants, including side result. It was already mentioned. Yes, it is not, of course, the majority, but it is every call. Each call we have some idea coming from a project, but totally different of the research goal. But some results are interesting. in the frame of the REC project, you have no budget or no time or no resource to check, what could be done with this good idea. Yes, then you can think a little about and then apply for a project, even it is outside. Typically, you have developed a new methodology to achieve your goal, your research goal, and this methodology could be applied in, let's say, the normal life instead of, or even in the science in general, instead of just for your research. The innovation, so the different, of course, set what use of the result, what will be the no more the research target, but what will what the citizen or the society, what are the problem, what is the problem to be solved, who can be solved with this new technology or new methodology, because in human science it's a lot of methodology or a new component or new reagent in chemistry or biotech. It can be a very early stage. So on the TRL scale, TRL 1, 2, or later stage, and it means advanced result and maybe with a IP protection, with already a patent filed, with already some demonstration in the laboratory, and to go a step further. As soon as you can apply 3 times on the same project, 3 times a POC, that means you can. The purpose is to go from TRL 2 to 3 or 4, and then from 3 to 5, and to 4 to 5. And these are the, let's say, the typical way to go further or to progress on the innovation scale. And of course, what will be the added value of this innovation in the market? When we say the market, it is in the impact on the society in the today's situation, because of course the world has not waited for this innovation. So what will be the advantage or the added value of this potential innovation on the market? The second chapter is approach and methodology, and it is the let's say the longest and the more important, because you have to describe what are the activities of the project on one side, and what are the action of the project, and then also the methods. So description of the objective, that means what are the targets, the accurate targets of the project based on the results you already have. And at the end, if you have targets, you have to also to define, shall we go further? Shall we apply something? What are the go, no go criteria to have a proof of concept? It's just not to get some result without any evaluation of this project, of these results. The assessment of potential and users, it is important, of course, this innovation, who will be the user of this innovation, the end user, and how to get practical information of their need or requirements. That's a way to have a more accurate target, to focus on this need. And you have, instead of, as it was already mentioned, instead of thinking of pushing science, you have to think to be pulled by the need of the market and no more from the wish of the scientist. That's a different way of thinking to have progress on this innovation scale, as it is always the the red wire to be followed. Description of activities. Do you need to have a prototype because you have no money to make a prototype, to test the prototype? Have you some weakness to improve? That means to provide additional results to prove that it is viable in the future, or in this new application, or in this new way, different from the REC way. Of course, as soon you want to think or go to the market, you have to think about the IP strategy. Have you already some IP? What is the situation? What is the picture on when you start? But what will be also the strategy? Do you intend to protect? It is different, of course, in depending on the technology. IP through patent is typically mandatory in biotech and chemistry or material technologies. It's less evident for engineering technologies, and it is even less evident for human science, of course. What is the vision of the business model? Do you already think about doing setting up a spin-off, for instance, or you have good contact with industry? You think a license could be a solution, a way. The purpose is not to have a business plan. It's not the purpose. Is to have let's say the vision. What's your vision in 5 years? How far would you like to be, for instance, in the society, on the market, or in the project? One section is dedicated to the involvement of partners. As it was already mentioned by Virginie, it's clear that in your own resources, in your lab, you don't have typically all the necessary or mandatory resources to go further, especially if the way is not exactly aligned with the way of or let's say the strategy of the lab. So indication on key partners to succeed on short term or long term is very important. A question was the difference between letter of support or letter of intent. Or it's similar, but I think it's the supporting is less committing than to have intention to, let's say, to be involved. Letter of intent for me is more if the results are if the targets are achieved, the results are positive, I intend to think to consider these results and to see what I can do with. A letter of support, I think, is less strong. That means, okay, it's a good idea. I support it should be a good way to check this experimentation, or to check this hypothesis and so on. But the commitment of the industry or another partner or another laboratory, the commitment is not let's say as strong. For me, a letter of intent is to have the intention, let's say even to enter in the process, or to maybe to get a license, or to help to do a spin-off. This more an intention than a support. What role do you expect from them during the project, after the project? How is it formalized? So letter of intent. But existing contract, you can have a POC, even you are already in contact with an industry, even a cooperation with industry. But in this case, you should to be very transparent of the role and the position of the partners. Think about conflict of interest, think about state aid rules, and so on. But you normally have teams in your university to help you to solve these problems. Approach and methodology, description of action, so action plan, what tasks have to be done, technically, market, IP aspects. It is important to specify the expected deliverables. A Gantt chart with milestones and outcomes is an easy way to explain that you have clear activities in mind, clear action in mind with a sequence and so on. So it's standard. It is standard to understand better. Of course, the description of the resource and why. So especially access to specific equipment, including the staff. Of course, it's not only to have access to the machine or the equipment, but typically you need to also have access to the relevant persons to use this equipment, and you have to have the whole package. And that's a way you often need to have a subcontract with somebody else to have some result, to have some testing and so on. Of course, consumables, some travels, this sometimes it is required for the project. It is important to give indication on how the grantees will help to carry out the action. It is not mandatory to provide an accurate budget. As Virginie said, you have the grant, you have the flexibility, you can manage it, but it is important to explain why you need this POC and what to do. What is the added value of the POC always on the way to go to on the TRL scale. Description of the team, the profile, adequate experience, role of the members of the team, who will be in charge of what action, both on the science side, but also on the market approach. Or when I say market, I say IP, it's to go to the market. End users, it's also to understand the market. Industrials or enterprises or partners, it's also a way to have a better understanding of the market. So not on the market globally, but the needs of the market. It's more accurate. And don't hesitate to embed in the project people from outside the core team of science. Typically, somebody from the tech transfer office or knowledge transfer office is a good signal that you are more open to innovation and to understand the needs. But can be also somebody from an incubator, somebody from an industry, to let's say to ensure that all the approach than the pure science approach are included in the project. If you have weaknesses in the team, you can mention it, because then the POC can improve the situation and help you, as it was explained by Virginie. In human science, you have not, let's say, an engineer of informatics necessarily, but you can hire one during 1 year just to have to structure the software in a good way to be portable in the future, for instance. The project management is, of course, something important. So the description of the organizational structure of the project, what are the personal role and the commitment of the PI, how the team will work together, how are the decisions taken, is a steering committee in place involving all aspects of the project. Having a steering committee is a classical recommendation made by the experts or the panels, because sometimes it is too, let's say, there is a lack of coherence in the vision. And then the steering committee is thinking to have a way to think, to have brainstorming with other, let's say, other perspective than just the science. And there is also what are the reaction if an unexpected event occurs? For instance, departure of key members or lack of material or other problems. So a table of risk and mitigation of risk during the project is interesting to understand what are the challenges for the team. So what it was said, just a comment on about the methodology for assessing the project. It was explained by Lynn, 5 experts with different profiles. But there is a briefing before the year for the call of the year. There is a debriefing after. And it is very important to have let's say a common or coherent vision between the EIC team, sorry, and the expert, about 100 expert. Giving an example, an expert will have each call 12 to 10 or to 20 projects. That, of course, typically they are oriented according some area. Personally, I was not involved in the biotechnology IEC project because my background is not in this field. The scoring, you have it was explained by Lynn, 3 different notes, really good, failed. It seems that to be, because in the beginning it was more accurate. We had the whole range between 1 to 5, but finally with 5 experts, it is clear you have very good project, you have good project, and if you have one criteria in the 3 criteria which is not good, failed, it's easier to, let's say, no, it's not easy to put a 0 it's not easier for the expert, but it's, as it is smoothed by the 4 orders, you can then confirm or let's say to give an advice which is more, we have more impact to see something is wrong in this there is a lack of a lot of things, then you put failure and it is more legible or readable for the team. We also got each expert got evaluation, self-evaluation through the statistics of if we are, let's say, Lynn mentioned that only the 3 on 5, 3 appreciation evaluation are taken into account. If you are always on the two rejected, that's a problem. You have a problem with your methods of assessment. So it is important to be situated, to can situate ourselves if we are online with the team or not. And this led to a continuous improvement, call after call, and a global coherence of the assessment process. That's my experience after 5 years. So it was just the introduction. I am now open to your question, if any.